What is up, guys? Wraec here with a new video, and today I want to talk about speed. There was a question that was sent to me and I thought that was quite interesting. The question was, Wraec, how fast are your hero? Is 3000 speed possible? And I thought about it and was like, oh, it's quite interesting. Because we haven't really talked about this entire topic yet. There is way more that is possible right now, actually. And I want to give you a bit of an example. We want to go through some sources of speed. Maybe you can reevaluate them then for your account, or you take it just as something that is a little bit of an interesting matter. So starting off, we have an LFA. LFA 2431 speed as it is right now, 166 mil attack. We have a copy, of course, that is quite strong, 99 speed, which is SSS tier, the maximum speed possible on a copy. And we have bonus stats, by the way, and this is completely unrelated to speed thing, but look at this roll. Holy damage, fear immunity, giant killer, defy. I recently got that. I'm quite happy because I'm finally done re-rolling this thing. So yeah, definitely take a look and then we can continue. So next thing, and this is of course a classic thing that you can use to buff your speed, is to just change the enables. This is another 40 speed. And then the next thing would be a stone. And we have holy damage, skill damage here. Let's change that to speed stone. And this is 130 speed. So with that already, with those basic things, we're 2601. And then we can go and choose an artifact. In the past, there were already speed artifact like Zagos's Magic Ball, providing 75 speed. Now we are, of course, in the deific meta, and there we can get like 100 speed from something like a rocket, or even from the deific mirror also has 100 speed. So that is pretty cool, and we can take that and use that to get some more stats on here. And this is just like an immediate boost already. So now we're 2701, and from that we're starting to get into the big things that boost your speed. But before we go there, quick look at some smaller sources. We can go to the residence, and this is 212 speed, so not exactly small, but it's quite something. It doesn't depend on the hero copies that you have in there. It just depends on the level of the slot and that there is a copy in there. 50 million attack, by the way, from the residence is kind of nice, mostly from like PDE giving 22 mil, and this one also giving 22 mil, so we have pretty major stat boosts there. And then we have some smaller buffs scattered around in the game, but now the really big things are treasure train and soul power. Starting off with soul power because it's a little bit easier. If we take a look at my soul temple, go into the soul gathering statue, we can find my LFA there, and we have a cap on him of 8994 soul power. This depends on the stats on your copy, so the total stats on your copy determine with how much you can put on this copy. And in this case, 8994, giving us 539 speed. It is a little bit less than on my PDE. There we have 9206, so 552 there. But you can see it's like higher stats, so makes sense. If we could also max this out, and I'm actually considering it, I'll be honest with you guys, it would require me to sacrifice an SSS tier to this LFA to completely max out the stats. But I am thinking about it. I might do this. Would be a fancy video. So maybe we are going to go ahead and do that, well, once we get an appropriate sacrifice for that. And we can check out some of my other SSS heroes maybe to see their soul power. So here we have 9364, which is quite insane. On my Ferric Investor, we are at 9200 flat, which is also pretty good. And I have another SSS tier. Where's my bloody Mockman there? There we are at 8813, so it's a little bit lower, which is mostly because of the speed. It's just 2, but it's of course valued at the higher node. So with the soul power now on my LFA, we are looking at 3240 speed. So already quite massive. And this is not the only thing that we can do. There is one really major source of speed that I think people underestimate to an extent. And this is treasure train. Treasure train has multiple sources of speed. We're starting off if we go into my treasure bonus, there is not like a general buff for Transcendence heroes for speed, or not like a basic attribute bonus plus speed. That doesn't exist yet. But we have it for the factions, so Shadow Fortress Abyss, the base factions have it. And this is actually a 2023 festival treasure, an orange one. It's not really massive, but it exists. Transcendence heroes, as I said, no general speed buff. There is no speed buff here. Class-specific ones, we have speed buffs not for every faction. Warrior doesn't, not for every class. Warrior doesn't have one. But Assassin has quite the powerful one. It has speed plus 218. So, as we want to find out about the highest speed, I would suggest we just think about LFA as an assassin for the moment and give him this 218 speed boost. So, let's just say it is an assassin. It is not an LFA anymore. It is now in Yom Tomb or something. So, we had the 3240 speed, we now get the 218 from the assassin perks as well, and on the hero itself it will then show 3458 already with this speed. And then we still have game mode specific speed buffs, and there is one game mode that is pretty insane, we're going to come to it in a second. Void campaign both with 389, and I should note, I don't have all of these speed treasures maxed. There are some in the festival treasures. And the way you max festival treasures is usually you maxed out the festival, the main part, everything you needed to spend, and then you spend more to get more treasures. And I don't usually spend more to get some treasures. I max the event, get the loot, but I don't go for treasures. And this is really the difference and why I'm just placed 15 in the leaderboard, by the way, which is quite funny because I have every single other series max. It's just the festival treasures. So 389 there. We have Realm's Gate with 216, Void Vortex the same, Void Arc the same, which is why they are usually grouped up. Sometimes you get a treasure that is just specific for something. We're going to see that in Sealand in a sec, but usually it's grouped up. Speed 270 here for Tower of Dream, Tower of Oblivion. And then we come to Sealand, and Sealand is 321, which is quite massive. And it's also one where it is specifically quite useful. Speed is very useful in PvP, and it's quite useful in Sealand. Because in many other game modes, you just get outsped anyway. It doesn't really matter. In Sealand, that's a different story. With enough speed boost and a good enough copy, you can outspeed in Sealand, and this actually works. Sealand is mostly granted to you by the Hero Merge series, and this is not even a treasure. It's like the full boost, and we get 200 speed right there for the 10,000 points. So definitely a series that if you want to go for Sealand can make it a lot easier. And then we also do have, and this is another major part to it, we have the Arcane Jewelry, and there we have the Infernal Emblem, which is another 51 speed. You can just buy this one. This is just the Sealand treasure that you can buy in the Sealand shop. It grants you 51 speed once you have it maxed. And then we have some other minor sources of this. So those are like the two main sources for Sealand speed. And then we come to the PvP game modes. And the PvP game modes, there are some pretty insane ones. Aspen Dungeon 270. Interdimensional Arena is actually the game mode where we have the most speed right now. And this is 517 speed. You can get more. Again, festival treasures are included in this. There are a lot of festival treasures for PvP, and I don't usually like to go for them as loot from there is a bit limited. The other game modes actually in PvP have lower things. Free Team Up has the same, it's also 517, but then we have Trial Champion 315, 315, 115 for Starland, for Force War also 115. So really, we have this interdimensional would be my highest speed. So if we add that to our LFA, that is no longer an LFA, but in Yom Tomb to get the Assassin speed boost as well, another 517 speed to that, this would be 3,975 speed already. So nearly 4K. And if we now consider that, well, we could max this guy out, and, well, like we already saw higher boost. This one is already 13 higher than our LFA. You can imagine that this guy, or that in general, a max SSS tier assassin in Interdimensional Arena could easily surpass the 4,000 speed. So the question was, is 3,000 speed possible? And my answer is 4,000 is. 3,000 is no problem, but 4,000 speed is also possible already, which is madness. There's, by the way, I forgot to say that it's a little bit of a smaller speed boost also in here. It's a 120 speed boost we got right there. So that is also something to note. And yeah, Not only do we have massive attack, but also I think a lot more speed than people even realize. Just because it's not written right here doesn't mean it doesn't exist. For an assassin, by the way, it would be written right there. We can find a small example of that. I think I have like some 3-star assassin. Do we have a 3-star assassin? I don't even know who an assassin is. That's a ranger. You are a ranger, you are a priest. Okay. Maybe we don't have an assassin. Who's an assassin? I need a low-level assassin to show it. Are you an assassin? You don't look like an assassin. He is an assassin, but you can see it. It's like 508 speed. So pretty major boost in between. And yeah, so that is something to note. The 217 speed or something from the class-specific buffs would be displayed. So you wouldn't see it right there. You would see something like 3,500, but in Interdimensional Arena you would be over 4,000. And it also explains why some fights in those game modes look super one-sided nowadays. I'm always surprised how far into a match I can go without ever like using my main team, really. If we check out some of the tournaments, this is quite surprising. We can go into the Hall of Glory. I think, did I win last season? I won last season as well. Wraec versus Androidian Predator. Did I use my main team here? I don't think I did. Well, it's like my LFAs in there, so it's a bit mean actually. But we can like watch a fight for a second, and you can see it's like the speed boost that you have from Treasure Train, all the little attack boosts and everything, make it so even heroes like my LDA, who isn't super fast, who isn't super upgraded, who doesn't have a home, who is just maybe equipped with a flag, is just faster. So my entire team just outsped him with no chance, even though he had homeowners in there, he had D12 heroes and everything. It's just because of the Treasure Train difference. And that is real madness. And I hope this was like an interesting topic. I wasn't quite sure. I thought it was just like, I read the question, I thought, that could be a video. And I hope you enjoyed it. And if there are any other topics you want me to talk about, feel free to write it down in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. And with that, I wish you a great day. And we'll see us in the next one.